What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Area Stat Leaders, the top 10 passing, receiving, and rushing leaders, but hold, just for week 11 of the postseason. It's our postseason edition, and it's brought to you by Pinnacle Building Services. If you need your business cleaned, Pinnacle Building Services are the ones to do the job for you. So this is how we're going to do it for the postseason. Because of the buys, some players won't get started until a week later, and if teams that played in the first week go on a run, well, that kind of skews things. So what we're going to do for the next at least 2 weeks, maybe for a third week if we have enough teams in there, we're going to do each week by week stat leaders. That gives more guys a chance to, maybe break into the top 10 or show out here for the next couple of weeks. So without further ado, it is time to show you the leading passers through the first week of the postseason, our week 11 passing leaders. And let's start down at the bottom. Marcus Hoflich makes it into the top 10. He was in our regular season passing leaders for a little bit early on in the year, but he had 68 passing yards. He did have a touchdown against Orville. Just wasn't enough, though, for him, but he finishes as the number 10 passer in week 11. Now to number 9, and Parker Proper. Yeah, Danville has a quarterback in the top 10. He did just enough, just what Coach Bloom needed him to do against Steubenville Catholic Central. I mean, they went off against Catholic Central up at Harding Stadium. You'll have a running back as well here in the top 10. But Parker Proper, 70 yards passing, the 2 touchdowns, as Danville looks pretty darn good as a 10 seed in the postseason. Our number 8 passer, Peyton Baker. Now this is interesting. Crawford has 2 quarterbacks in the top 10 this week. Peyton Baker, he got 5 completions. We went 5 for 10, 72 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but going in there to throw the ball, he did a pretty darn good job. Our number 7 passer, Blake Sipes of Fredericktown, in a shootout. They ran the ball mostly. You'll see actually Sipes in the running category as well. He had 74 passing yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, 6 completions. Just wasn't enough, though, as Fredericktown falls in week number 11. Hayden Keith of Western Reserve also in here with his 2 touchdowns passing, 190 passing yards, 16 completions as Western Reserve. Another one of those 10 seeds that may turn some heads here. Maybe they can go to the third seeded squad, or actually the second seeded squad, and knock them off here coming up. We'll have to find out. Another team that was rolling this past week, the Mohawk Warriors and Andon Klaus, only 9 completions to get 209 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, both to Levi Teal. He'll be in the receiving leaders here coming up, but Mohawk just did exactly what we thought they would do against the Locomotives and just steamroll them into week number 12. Mohawks. Andon Klaus, the number 5 passer for week number 11. Now, moving up one more, a valiant effort, but St. Paul going to Warren JFK, unable to get the win, but Grant Coonley did get over 200 yards passing, 16 completions, 3 touchdowns as well for Coonley, as St. Paul just, it was a slow start for them, and they were unable to bounce back as JFK, once again, that team always making a run in the regionals, will move on to week number 12. Grant Coonley, the number 4 passer this past week in our leaders. We talked about Mr. Baker earlier for Colonel Crawford, but their leading passer was Braden Holt. 13 completions for 213 yards and 2 scores as the Eagles run all over Eastern. The 5 over the 12. They will get the matchup, like we said, 2 nights from now at Mount Gilead. That is a highly anticipated matchup between Colonel Crawford and Mount Gilead. But Braden Holt in week 11 did a very solid job passing for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cam Kraft, we've seen him on the OH report. He breaks into our week 11 passing leaders against Clear Fork, 230 yards through the air on 18 completions and a couple touchdowns there. Cameron Kraft just really showed out against the Colonel Crawford Eagles. Not the Colonel Crawford Eagles, the Clear Fork Colts, I should say. Able to do plenty with his couple touchdowns to Braylon McDuffie, but Cam Kraft has Orville going to Shelby. This should be an interesting matchup. Shelby just has so much firepower, but we've seen Cameron Kraft and company able to stick with some of the best teams. We'll see how long they can do that here coming up. But our top passer, Ashland, didn't get the bye. Nathan Bernhard didn't get the bye, but still doing what he has done all year. He had 6 touchdowns against Mount Vernon. Also added a rushing touchdown. 7 total touchdowns for him. 327 passing yards. I believe 320 of them were in the first half. 18 completions. The App State commit is just going nuts right now as Ashland into the second round, and they're looking hot going down to St. Francis de Sales, and if they win there, probably coming my way to Massillon to take on Massillon, Washington, and what a matchup that could be as well. So Nathan Bernhard, our Week 11 passing champ, 327 yards, and what a performance by him, as you'll see a couple of their receivers here coming up just in a moment in our top 10 receiving leaders. Once again, we're brought to you by Pinnacle Building Services, and like I said before we started our passers, we're going week by week now for at least 2 this week and next, and if we have enough teams in for the regional semifinals, we'll have a passing leaders for that, but we're just going week by week, so this will reset after this week, and we'll have a fresh top 10 with, the likes of Braden DeVito coming in now, and you have a couple other, you have six teams that we haven't even seen yet. Cale Lewis at Hillsdale hasn't played yet in the postseason, so we'll have new names coming in next week, a fresh new top 10. We have the passers. Now it's time to look at the receiving leaders here through this week 11 of the postseason. And let's start at number 10, Tyson Woodruff. We have 2 Orville Red Riders that broke in there. He needed 52 yards to get into it, but 52 yards on 3 catches for him at 17.3 yards per reception. Carson Proper, the Proper to Proper connection, 3 catches, 59 yards for him, almost 20 yards per reception. Like we said, Danville had a little bit of the passing attack. The rushing attack did exactly what it was supposed to do against Steubenville Catholic Central, but the passing attack was there a little bit as well. Kirk Parker, a running back from Fredericktown, into any of our stat leaders for the first time. 2 carries for 60 yards. Good for him. Or 2 catches for 60 yards for him. 30 yards per catch for the Freddy as he finishes off his season this year. Killian O'Brien, what a one-handed grab. You saw that when we showed Mr. Bernhard's highlights. That one-handed grab it's probably one of the best catches we've seen all year. He had 4 of them for 65 yards, 2 touchdowns for the Arrows. A name we've seen throughout the season on the stat leaders, that is Mr. Brexton Freilich. 7 catches for 90 yards for Western Reserve in their week number 11 minor upset, as, yeah, they're healthy now. Hayden Keith there, throwing the ball right to him, and then you have Wiggle, who did not make the top 10 rushers this week, but they used the passing attack more as, well, actually the quarterback running as well, to get into week number 12 for them. But Brexton Freilich, our number 6 receiver in week number 11. Our number 5 receiver, I talked about him a little bit ago. It is Braylon McDuffie. He's a highlight reel every week as well. He had 7 catches for 93 yards against Clear Fork, and watch this catch. Both touchdowns shown here, but he does that all the time. He's done that all season long, and he'll need to do that next week when he goes up against the receiving champion in Brady Bowman and the Shelby Whippets, the number 1 team in all of Division 4 football. Moving up one more spot, Landon Freeze showed out in his final high school football game. 8 catches for 131 yards and 3 scores, but like I said, it was too little too late as they fell to Warren JFK in the first round of the postseason. But Landon Freeze, another great receiving effort there for St. Paul. Now to our top 3. And Parker Weithman, he finished number 3 through 10 weeks. He was our 3rd highest receiver in the area stat leaders, and he stays there for week number 11. He had 137 receiving yards on 8 catches and a score for the Eagles. As like I said, they'll head down to Mount Gilead in a huge matchup that you'll see on the OH Report live and free on Friday night. Our number 2 receiver, he's listed as a running back at the beginning of the year, but he's more of a pass catcher. That's Gabe Baith. 8 catches for 163 yards. He has been going off since week 5. I believe he has over 500 or 600 yards receiving since their game against West Holmes in week number 8, and he continues to just get past defenders in the secondary. 8 catches, 163, and the 3 touchdowns. But our number 1 receiver here in week 11, Mohawk's Levi Teal. He's been in the top 10 receiving through 10 weeks. He is now the top receiving. I mean, why do you leave him open? How did they leave him open like that? You cannot do that to a receiver like Levi Teal. 5 catches, 181 yards, and 2 scores as Mohawk. I believe they have a legit shot of getting a home game for a regional semifinal, despite being a 6th seed. They can get past Lipsick this weekend, and I believe Liberty Benton, one of the teams with a dash in between. Anyway, as a 7 seed, they're favored over North Baltimore. So a 6-7 matchup, regional semifinals go to the higher seed. So Mohawk could get one more home game if things fall their way. So there are your leading passers, your leading receivers in week number 11. We will have our leading rushers after this short message from Pinnacle Building Services, our area stat leader 2025 sponsor.
I didn't think our staff would even notice that we switched cleaning companies, but they did right away. They noticed that the office was cleaner, that things were bright, more vibrant, and that created a more positive working environment for us. There's always a potential to spread illness if our building isn't as clean as it possibly could be. Having Pinnacle in our building to make sure that it's as clean and safe and healthy as it can be helps us take the best care of our patients. It's family owned and operated, they're local, which means a lot to us.
Thank you once again to Pinnacle Building Services for being our stat leader sponsor through 10 weeks, through weeks 11, 12, and probably 13 as well. I believe we'll have enough wide receivers, passers, and running backs to be in the top 10 in the regional semi-final round. So we had our passers, we had our receivers, and it's now time to take a look at our top 10 rushers of week 11, the first week of the postseason. And like I said, this will reset next week. We have new teams coming in that had byes. 6 of them will be in for the first time, so we'll reset and see who did the best in week number 12. But let's finish off week number 11 and take a look for the first time this year. Brady Giegold into the stat leaders. The number 10 performance, 90 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Lucas tried coming back. They had the ball. They had a chance to go for the tie, but just an overthrow on 4th down pretty much gave Strasburg the win by 2 scores. But Lucas, a strong finish to the regular season and a strong rushing performance by Brady Giegold, who has been our MVP quite a few times. Parker Hostetler, they have a balanced attack, and that's what I think gives Orville a chance, at least for a half, against Shelby. Hostetler, 22 carries, 94 yards against Clear Fork, and a score as Orville was able to pull away against the Clear Fork Colts down at the Corral. They, though, get a very good Shelby squad coming up on Friday night at Shelby. Him, McDuffie, Tyson Woodruff, all of them will have to, Cam Kraft would all have to really show out, get into a shootout with Shelby if they want to do something. Our number 8 running back is the quarterback from Fredericktown, Blake Sipes, 11 carries for 108 yards and 3 touchdowns. They kept to the ground. They played Scott Spittler football, nearly pulled off a big upset, but lost in a shootout in week number 11. But shout out to Fredericktown and the way they were able to run this season. Our number 7 running back is Mr. Connor McMichael, who stayed around the top between like number 2 and number 6 this year from midway through the season up until now. 13 carries, 109 yards, and 3 touchdowns for a balanced Colonel Crawford attack. They'll need him to go off again against Carson Barnum and the Mount Gilead Indians coming up on Friday night. Now to our number 6 runner, and again, he's been in the top 10 pretty much all season long. That's Cy Wallace. He had himself a running attack against Steubenville Catholic Central. Only 4 carries to get 118 yards. He also scored 2 touchdowns, and here are the 2 touchdowns. Look at the speed. Boom and zoom. There's the zoom. As Cy Wallace, they head to Fisher Catholic in a game you'll see on the NFHS network coming up on Friday night. Can Danville keep rolling? Can they set up that state Final Four rematch in a regional championship against Hillsdale? We'll have to find out here through the next couple of weeks. I talked about Hayden Keith in here. The only reason why Wiggle barely missed out on the top 10 here is because of Keith. Keith ran for 122 yards on 23 carries. He threw the ball well. He also ran the ball well. As, like I said, he's that piece that Western Reserve needed. He would have been healthy all year, I believe Western Reserve would have been the Firelands Conference champs. But Hayden Keith has them rolling right now, and they're still in the postseason in week number 12. Our number 4 running back, Nick Pocos. Pocos of the Flyers, 14 carries, 123 yards against Warren JFK in a battle that they were just coming up short. If they wouldn't have had a slow start to this one, they would have had a chance. But Pocos doing what he's been doing the last few years for St. Paul, and he finishes with 123 yards, one better than Keith. Gavin Toombs, you think he's the pass catcher, tight end? No, he ran the ball 18 times for 140 yards and 3 touchdowns. Don't let that deceive you. He actually is the number 3 rusher in week number 11 with his performance, power back performance, taking a page out of Lucas, the RPO. He's a big guy. He probably ran over many defenders in week number 11, but Fredericktown losing in a shootout as their season ends and his career ends with a 140-yard rushing performance. Probably, I'm guessing that's a career high for him, so not a bad way to go out. Nicholas Parks of Seneca East using his feet. He only passed for 10 yards. The leading passer in the Northern 10 throws for 10 yards in a win, but he runs for 153 on 28 carries, 2 touchdowns. I mean, you take what the defense gives you, and Parks running the ball for most of it as Seneca East is moving on to week number 12. And finally, our top running back, again, it's from the Mohawk Warriors, Caden Bish. Only 13 carries to get 203 yards, over 15.6 yards per carry, and the 2 scores you see right here as they go to Lipstick. They win. They most likely could get a home playoff game in a regional semifinal. How about that for the Mohawk Warriors who, slipped up in week 10, cost them a home playoff game, but they still may be able to get it for a regional semifinal. So there you have it. There are our Week 11 top 10 passing, rushing, and receiving leaders from our area on the OH Report. And like I said, we got 6 more teams coming their way into the mix this week. You have the Centerburg Trojans. You have the Hillsdale Falcons. Mount Gilead going in there. Shelby's coming in there. Lexington's coming in. Monroeville's coming in as well. And we have a huge stacked lineup for you Friday night as well for week number 12 of the high school football playoffs. Also, another pigskin will be coming your way on Friday night of all the highlights. And then next Wednesday, I will have another edition of this. We'll erase all the brackets, we'll erase the boards, and we'll have a fresh top 10 passing, rushing, and receiving. Can our champions for passing and receiving in their first taste of playoff football get back to the top and Braden DeVito and Brady Bowman, or will we see the likes of Kraft and McDuffie on the other side maybe get those numbers? We'll just have to find out because, we'll be here for it. Can't wait. But stick around. We got soccer tonight, state semifinal soccer tonight, and then tomorrow, state semifinal volleyball. I'll be down all the way down in Dayton as Monroeville, Buckeye Valley, and Calvert will be in the state semifinal, and then I'll be back here for Friday night football on Friday. But that'll do it for me here at OH Report World Headquarters East in Massillon. I will see you later.